Icarus and the Sun, the boy who flew too close to truth. In the sun-drenched kingdom of Crete, Daedalus was a man whose mind was a map of impossible things. He was the greatest architect of the age, the man who built the labyrinth to cage a monster. Beside him stood his son Icarus, a boy who watched the gulls with a hunger that no feast could satisfy. While the father lived in the logic of stone and shadow, the son lived in the longing of the open sky. But brilliance is a cage of its own. King Minos, fearing the secrets Daedalus held, sealed the father and son within a high stone tower. There were no doors to the world, only the windows to the heavens. Daedalus did not weep, he worked. He gathered every feather dropped by the passing birds, and, using heavy wax and twine, he began to fashion a miracle. He was building a way to steal the sky. The morning of their escape arrived with a whisper of wind. Daedalus fastened the great wings to his son's shoulders, his hands trembling with a father's sudden terror. "Listen to me, Icarus," he warned. "Follow the middle path. Fly too low, and the sea's dampness will weight your wings. Fly too high, and the sun's fire will devour the wax. Stay with me, and we shall be free." They leapt. The world fell away, and for the first time in human history, the air became a solid thing to be conquered. Icarus felt the rush of the thermal, the incredible heart-stopping weightlessness of flight. The shore of Crete shrank to a pebble. He felt like a god, a creature of wind and light, leaving the heavy, tethered world of men far below. The father's warning became a distant murmur, drowned out by the roar of the wind. Icarus looked upward and saw the sun, not as a ball of fire, but as the ultimate truth, a golden eye beckoning him to see what no mortal had ever seen. He began to climb. He beat his wings harder, rising through the clouds, drawn to the heat that promised a greatness beyond survival. The air grew hot, thick with the scent of melting honey. Icarus felt a strange softness in his shoulders. A single feather spiraled away, then another dancing in the updraft. The wax was weeping. The sun, in its terrible and indifferent glory, began to dissolve the very thing that gave the boy his power. The great truth was beginning to burn him. The wings disintegrated. Icarus reached out, clawing at the empty air, but the sky offered no hand to hold. He fell. It was a long, silent descent from the height of divinity back to the reality of the salt and the waves. In those final moments, the fire of the sun still burned in his eyes, a memory of the glory he had touched before the sea claimed his breath. Daedalus reached the shore of a lonely island, his own wings heavy with grief. He found his son's body washed upon the sand, a broken bird of silk and bone. He buried Icarus there, beneath the soil of the island that would forever bear his name. The architect had escaped the labyrinth of Minos, only to enter a labyrinth of sorrow from which there was no map to lead him out. We tell the story of Icarus as a lesson in hubris, a warning against the arrogance of youth. But Icarus is more than a mistake. He is the embodiment of the human spirit's refusal to stay in the dark. He represents the longing to reach for the impossible, even when we know the price is the very life we seek to elevate. To fly is to risk everything. Daedalus lived many more years, his name whispered in every court as a master of craft. Yet he spent his twilights by the sea, watching the sun dip below the horizon. He had lived a long, safe life, but he had never again felt the wind beneath his arms. He was the man who survived, living in the gray middle path he had once preached so fervently. We often forget the other half of the father's warning. Daedalus told the boy not to fly too high, yes, but he also warned him not to fly too low. To fly too low is to be dampened by the mist, to be made heavy by the mundane, and to sink into the gray nothingness where souls are forgotten. Is a life lived in the safety of the fog truly better than a moment lived in the fire of the sun? The sun still hangs in the sky, a golden weight of truth and danger. It watches as we build our own wings of paper, of digital light, or of cold ambition. We are all children of the labyrinth, looking upward at the light. If the choice is to rot in a safe tower, or to burn in a moment of absolute blinding glory, which path would you choose?